So, as promised, I will focus on our two new modules. One is Fusion VCO, another is Fusion Delay Flanger and Vintage Ensemble module. Before you ask question, are those modules which are based on vacuum tubes, can they work from Eurorack PSU? Yes, they can. So all our new Fusion series modules are configurable so that you can plug them into any Eurorack case with standard plus minus 12 volts PSU. And like this guy at maximum consumes 180 milliamps from plus and minus rail. This one 40 milliamps from plus and 170 from minus. So that's maximum they consume. So that this is really reasonable, and that you can use them in like normal, regular Eurorack setup. Well, little bit about like specifics, like why they are Fusion. They are not pure tube modules because tubes are kind of in circuit together with semiconductors, and therefore, you know, we capitalize on like positive parts of or positive effects from like both worlds. So tubes give this softness and not so harsh over harmonic, higher harmonics. Semiconductors ensure like great tuning and usability of the module, so they sound good. Also, you know, starting with Fusion VCO, like conventional wisdom says that tubes cannot be tuned. Tube VCOs cannot be tuned in like reasonable range. So this VCO actually tunes perfect from C1 to C8, you know, and you know it's like plus minus 1 cent, you know, in each octave. How we achieve it? We have actually digital oscillator here inside, which is kind of reference oscillator, and then we have two tube sub-oscillators, meaning that tubes basically work like they generate sound which tracks exactly the internal oscillator. So tubes itself are not in, they are not generators, but there is bistable latch on each double triad, which like follows frequency of incoming signal, and a tube generates like -1 octave and -2 octaves, like lower sound. So maybe it's time to hear what it does actually. Yeah? So also, yeah, we have dedicated VCO out, which is output from this built-in VCO. So I will first initially show how this VCO sounds alone. So here. So, the built-in VCO has three basic waveforms: sine, triangle, and ramp, and they are kind of shapeable. Let's start with sine. So it's slightly overdrived on one end, and little bit other way overdrive to other end. Then we can switch to triangle. It's ramp on one side and sawtooth on another side. And when we go to pulse wave, so it's pulse width modulation. Yeah, so that's in built-in oscillator, which you can use afterwards to like enhance the sound. But now let's switch to VCO itself. sound. Now it's -1, -2 octaves. You can adjust slightly character of each sound by changing a little bit the wave shape. You can do this octave mixing via CV. So I'll take a signal from LFO and do some submix, apply some submix. If you want to go really low frequencies, we have here a color knob, which is just passive low-pass filter, which filters out higher frequencies, and you can end up with very low, pure sine wave. So if you happen to have 5 kilowatt system on your home, so then beware that the windows could be blown out. You know? What I will do now, I will add. We have a dry-wet setting, dry-wet knob, which mixes between sub-oscillator and the principal oscillator. This principal oscillator, so which one we heard in the very beginning. So I will put this dry-wet mix in somewhere like 1/3 clockwise. Apply some pulse width modulation and have even more interesting results. Yeah, wave CV. Just an oscillator without any other like filters and devices that kind of alter the sound. What I will do now, I'll show you what happens if we patch here in audio input another oscillator. So I didn't tell you that it has audio input here. So what we have here, that we have audio input which replaces internal oscillator, so that you can track this Fusion VCO with any other audio input. So if you have your beloved analog VCO, you can use still this analog VCO to run this Fusion VCO, and Fusion VCO in that setting will be a sub-oscillator, -1, -2 octaves, with all those features which we saw here before. So I will use black vari-shape VCO, and let's take some ramp setting, patching in audio in. So internal oscillator gets disconnected. This is dry. And this is sub-oscillator. here's educational tip about VCOs. If you happen to have an oscillator and you doubt is it analog or digital, analog oscillators you can perform such an interesting patch that you patch output of the oscillator into exponential frequency modulation input and see what happens. The thing is that analog oscillators, they are fast, so they do not have any internal delays, so you can self-modulate analog oscillator. With digital oscillators, you will have some crappy shit out of it because it has a delay when you start to modulate it. Then analog digital converters has some delays and all like circuits inside, and you do not get like nice results. So I actually have done it just a few times, so therefore let's see what it happens, what it will do. So what I will do, I will patch the output of the body-shaped VCO to Pico multi input, and one output will go to exponential FM input, and other will go to the mixer. And let's see what we have. So now it is without any modulation. This is how it sounds. And then, so what I'm doing now, I'm patching the same output signal, which is like split it now in two, into exponential FM input, and let's see what it will do. Depending on how deep you modulate it, you get some results. But it sounds still pretty good. But if you will try it with digital oscillators, so it will never work because there will be some displacements in phases, delays, and so you will get something wrong out of it. Yeah. So we were in situation that we can use external oscillator, so be it digital or your below analog oscillator, to run through the Fusion VCO. Yeah? And what I'm doing here, I'm like I modulate this -1, -2 octave mix. But to make things even more interesting, you actually can even run a noise through the same input and get pretty similar results. So I'm patching noise to the audio input, and let's see what we have. We actually have -1, -2 octaves noise. You know? Which I can filter out. So this is with dry wet knob I can set like you can hear initial noise, so what goes into it, and then well, this is initial. So that's like basics of this VCO. But now let's make some more interesting patch. I will quickly repatch the system in a way that I will run VCOs through black VCA, so Polyvox VCF, black VCA, and then after VCA I will send it to Fusion Delay Chorus and Vintage Ensemble module. So I'll do quick repatching. So theoretically, yeah, so what we have here is Fusion delay vintage module is in all dry settings, so it has no effect on the signal. The signal goes through Polyvox VCF and fully open VCA. And I still have this -1, -2 octave mix. Okay, and now I'll make some random sequence using Pico sequencer, where I have saved. Yeah, here's 1 volt of octave input, 1 volt per octave inputs. I take gate to envelope generator, and
that's the sequencer in 4 HP?
In 3 HP. So it has 16 sequence memory. So I prepared some sequence before, and I will run then this. Yeah. So output of envelope generator goes to CV of. And we need some clock. So now I'm running some random sequence here. Perhaps we need to mix some noise in to make it more interesting and so that's what we have, what we can do with this small Pico sequencer. So that's one of 16 saved sequences. Pico sequence, Raivo will later tell about Pico sequencers, that it can save CVs, gate lengths, you can randomize steps, make them shuffle, and so on, so on. And now I will slightly increase dry wet setting on Pico Fusion, on Fusion delay, so that you can hear first effects from flanger. Fusion delay module has like several features. One is it has short and long delay switch. The module itself has inside 2 BBD chips. One is a 1024 step or stage BBD chip. Other is 4096 BBD chips. In long setting, those chips are in series. So you get delays up to 300 milliseconds on this module. Then we have a delay time knob. Delay time also can be controlled by external CV or by internal LFO, and you have like CV level attenuator. And then we have an overdrive knob, which applies some tube overdrive to the incoming signal. And also there is a similar dry wet knob, and similar this color knob like we had on Fusion VCO, meaning color knob will filter out higher frequencies, and you can have a more kind of bassy sound. What's interesting about vintage ensemble effect, that the effect was used in early digital synthesizers to make a stereo spread. What it does, it takes delayed signal, passes it through low-pass filter, and feeds back into original signal. At the end of the day, you get very interesting stereo spread, which especially is pleasant when you listen to the sounds through earphones. You know, it really like widens the signal, and that means that is especially heard when a dry-wet knob is about 12 o'clock. So yeah, let's see what we have. I guess we need a little bit higher volume. Can we make it a little bit louder? So this is with effect, and that's without. So that was short delay. What I'm gonna do now is I will increase overdrive, and let's see how it alters the sound. That's basically it. Any questions about Fusion modules?
Do you have voltage control over that like tone knob on the VCA?
This one?
On VCO, sorry.
On VCO?
Yeah.
Tone knob, you mean this color knob?
The color knob.
Yeah, no, it's passive low-pass filter, so you can't control it. Yeah, but what you can control is the wave shape via CV and octave mix. So where the -1 or -2 octave goes. Yeah. tubes, they do, normally tubes glow like this, but some friends came over to our workshop and they say, can they glow a little bit brighter so it's like better appearance? So we put some LEDs beneath them. But yeah, but they look no better, yeah. So now I give floor to Raivo, who will talk about tiny things.
I'll start with the sequencer, and I'll show my favorite feature. The cool thing about it, here's like empty sequence running, so it's just one note. The cool thing you can do is like you can set the scale. For example, I will choose like a major blues scale, and you can set the octave range of the sequencer. And you have this little magic button, which is called random, and you can just randomize sequences in between the scale and the octave range like this. Oh, I forgot to patch in the VCO. So, like this. Yeah. Okay, there's one hit. Now let's make another one. Okay, let's change the scale now. Let's set it to minor something. It was number 5. And make a bigger, like, octave range. Let's say 4 octaves. And let's set it back to 3 octaves so it will kind of emulate the 303. Like this. Okay. This is just an 8-step sequence. I'll make it like 16-step sequence now. Okay, let's say we want to keep this one. And there comes the second magic button. You can load and save your sequences, totally 16 sequences. Let's save this one. And save this one to slot number 1. And I will now recall the first one I saved before. Okay, and you can also transpose your sequences like this. Yeah, so it's like with 3 button presses you can like make instant acid techno hit and sell millions of records.
So you're actually creating that in the module right now?
Yeah, I'm just pressing the random button, so it randomizes between the scale and the octave range.
Did you say 16?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But you can make your own pattern, you know, with controlled notes and the gate lengths and
Yeah.
so on.
Yeah, but you can also like make your own pattern in between the set scale. So just I can do that now. Like let's load the empty sequence. Whoa. Here's the empty one. I will just go through steps. Also features a gate length and pitch slides, and you can also disable steps like this.
Is that per step?
Per step, yeah.
Oh.
section and some pitch slides. But the random always sounds better, like. Not just load the one I said before. Okay, and the next thing in the Pico system is the VCO. It features 32 waves. Second bank is like more compiled of waves which you don't want to filter, and the first bank is like more classic analog kind of sounds. The cool thing is that it also features a clean sounding sine wave. It's good if you want to design the drum sounds and like cool laser blips and stuff like that. So that's about the VCO. And VCO can also work as an LFO. And you can also morph through the waveforms in LFO mode with CV. And you can switch the waveforms with CV when it's in VCO mode. Let's do that now. Of course, some like more precise CV will work better. So let's get to the next thing, is the VCF1. It's basically the famous Russian, super powerful sounding Polvox mega filter. And it can make any waveform like scream like crazy, like this. Features two modes, low pass and band pass. And it also features CV input for the cutoff with attenuator on the module. Okay, that's about the filter. And next thing is the envelope generator, which is right now controlling the VCA of the VCO and also controlling the cutoff of the filter. It's also pretty advanced because it features different release lengths, so you can make it like with a small trigger, make it release like for longer or for shorter time. And also it can translate any gate input into like trigger input. It's great for synthesizing hi-hat sounds and stuff like that. Oh, and also I forgot one thing about the VCO is that it also features a noise source. So combining with the Polvox filter, we can make some really nasty drum sounds. Okay, that's the like synthesizer part of the system. And next module is the trigger. And the cool thing about trigger is that you can upload your own patterns in like few seconds. So we have like a small website dedicated to it. So there's the camera, I'll show it the camera. So you can like make triggers like this and upload them to the module straight through the clock input.
Just with like a mono 8-inch cable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that right now, but
No shit.
yeah. have some like better trigger patterns out in there.
Trigger patterns? Is that
It's 8 trigger patterns.
8?
Yeah, but the cool thing is that you can do polyrhythms, so you can make like more interesting patterns, not like all the time. I will load in now a polyrhythmic pattern into it, so you can do it. So yeah, you can listen to it like whole night. So, yeah. If you're high enough. You can like switch the patterns in real time with the load button. Okay, here's a like everyday. Here's some broken beats. And one more cool thing about the trigger is that it can shuffle. And you can also use like external clocking and still shuffle the output of it, so you can use it just as a shuffle module. Okay, that's a trigger. And the next thing in the system is the drums. I'll just scroll through. For the drums, you can adjust decay, volume, and pitch for each sample. And the coolest thing is that you can upload your own samples via a special small device and also web-based interface. And you can also save like sample sets for your drums. It's like 6 sample sets in total. I'll switch now between them. Here's, for example, like 909 kit. Here's 808 kit. And here's some other kit which I don't remember how you call it. You can also set the default like kit, so you can turn off the system, turn it back on, and we'll hear the first slot of the Pico drums. And also, it's actually not a drum module; it's like a small sample player module, and you can like upload any kind of sample. Once we uploaded like the half of the Motorhead Ace of Spades song into that module. So here I have some chord sounds uploaded into it.
What's the sample rate and storage like?
The storage is 8 megabytes. That's like 8 times more than the first MPC had back in the days. So it's plenty. Yeah, the samples are 16-bit. You can also, in the web interface, you can just drop in MP3s, like 24-bit samples, and it converts it by itself. The DAC on it is 12-bit though, but it sounds decent.
How do you access the bank? How do you import?
Just by the special device, small programmer, and the USB cable and computer. You can also like save and load like your sample bank, so it's like we have thought about everything, like you will want.
You guys from Germany?
No, from Latvia, but it's close. And as you may have already noticed, the Pico drum has a CV input, so I'll Well, let's try that one out. And CV input is also like configurable for different settings, and it also saves with the sample set. So let's see what. So now it's like controlling pitch. But my favorite is the sample switching with the CV. Let's make it work with the poster clock. You just hold the button when it's set to drum 1, and then you can like scroll between different modes like pitch, decay, and volume of the sample. But I'll leave it now on the CV sample selection. And you can still change the pitch, like with the whole sample. Try it with the other module. It has some different sounds.
So basically you have instant Richard Devine on 2 modules.
Yeah, and autocray, yeah. I'll input now some sample and hold into the. Okay, and the next module after the drums is VCF3. I will now put drums through it. This is just a like classic low-pass filter, but it has a like great self-oscillation. Let's use the same sample and hold. So it sounds really sweet, even without an input right now. Okay, that's the VCF number 3. The VCF2 didn't sound that good, so we like didn't release it. Maybe someday. So it's just the VCF1 and VCF3 for now. And the next thing in the system is the multiplier, just like it's a buffered multiply module from 1 to 3 and from 1 to 2. So it just like copies the signal without losing any of the signal rate like you do with passive multipliers. Next thing is a dual VCA. I don't need to explain what is a VCA. And one of the most exciting things in the system is the DSP. And now let's hear how that sounds. A stereo effects processor in a 3HP. And it features 8 different effects. Quite funky firmware on this right now. We will finish when we get back home, like right next week. It's basically a black hole DSP, but in 3HP, and it features only one per meter control. So yeah, that's the Pico DSP. The next module is the random module. I used it already before. It features sine wave output, pulse, random pulse output, and random pulse width output. So it's like one output is like outputting with a random gate length. So it's really useful for like controlling envelopes and stuff like that. Of course, and the sample and hold output and the noise output. I will now trigger one Pico drum with the random pulse output and switch the sample with the sample and hold output. It also features a clock input, so you can get like controlled, randomized stuff out of it. Let's add some DSP. Sounds like a 10 grand modular system right now. Okay, I could do this for hours. And the next thing is audio mixer, which is an audio mixer with 3 inputs and 1 output. And the last module in the system is the output module. It features stereo input, so you can go from the DSP straight into it, and then take stereo output with the stereo mini jack to your mixer or whatever. And it also features a phones output with a dedicated volume control. So yeah, that's the Pico system.